climate justice billboards and bus shelters. Another 1.5 million people listened to and or downloaded our weekly conversations with African American climate experts. Our KBLA Climate Justice web portal had 2.8 million unique visitors. Thousands more attended our 7 climate justice community events. More than 9.3 million riders saw our climate care messaging on metro buses and trains. And 39 million Americans accessed our C-SPAN Climate Justice Symposium. All told, our 2024 climate justice campaign exceeded 471 million total impressions. KBLA Talk 1580 thanks all of our 2024
Turn off the lights and light a candle. Tonight I'm in a romantic mood.
Hey, I know that's right.
Let's take a shower. Shower together.
Okay. Listen. Andy has struck it again. Andy never fails, right? He always has a beautiful way of opening the door to the conversation that we are about to have. Okay? Listen, turn off the lights. Let's have some fun. Happy Friday, KBLA delegation. I am Mischa Duffie, your host for this evening, and I'm grateful to be here with you as you either chill at home while still enjoying your holiday leave, or as you are in your car making your way to your destination, or as you are at the office trying to wrap up your workday. It is Friday. I hope nobody's still at work.
I hope not either. Y'all go home.
Right? Wherever this moment finds you, know that the next hour is about you and me and my 2 amazing guests. As I always do, just want to check in to make sure you had an amazing day, to make sure you took an opportunity to laugh, to hug someone, to be hugged by someone, to smile at someone, to receive a smile, to just think about how blessed you are and all that you have to be grateful for. Most of all, I hope someone told you that they loved you. And just in case they did not, allow me to send you all the love your heart can hold. Also, if by chance this is your first time tuning in to KBLA Talk 1580, we thank you for being here. Proudly, we are the only unapologetically progressive, Black-owned and Black-operated talk radio station on this side of the Mississippi. Yes, we are. And if you feel so inclined, you are always welcome to join the conversation by calling in at 1-800-920-1580. Y'all, look, it is Friday.
Hey.
And Friday is often reserved for date night or cuddling on the couch with your boo to Netflix and chill. Because I am Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Okay. Yes. That's what they usually be doing, Andy, right? But because I am currently single, I don't have a boo to do a date night with. However, I am happy to be spending my Friday evening in conversation with my friend Jamir Smith.
Hey.
And Essence Lifestyle Editor Dominique Fluker.
Hey, y'all.
Thank you all for both being here with me. By way of introduction, again, in case this is your first time being here tonight, Jamir Smith is an enthusiastic content creator, founder of the Jamir Smith podcast, and a debonair fashion enthusiast who's worked for Tyler Perry Studios, Walt Disney World Studios, BET Plus, and others. He has a busy career that has him living a purposeful bi-coastal life. He is a member of the prestigious Television Academy, and he can be seen on his IG lighting the world up with his love for curating amazing stories.
Oh, my God.
That is my friend Jamir Smith.
Come on, Michelle.
Dominique Fluker is a dynamic multimedia journalist, editorial strategist, speaker, moderator, and interior design storyteller based in Los Angeles. She currently is the lifestyle editor at Essence Magazine. Previously, Dominique served as the SMB marketing manager at Instagram and content marketing manager as well. And she also worked for TikTok right? So we are grateful for her experience. She's had the wonderful pleasure of writing for publications like Forbes Women, Glamour Magazine, Essence Magazine, Travel and Leisure, and so many more. Welcome, both of you.
Thank
you for
you.
being here with
Thank you,
me
thank you,
tonight.
Mischa.
It is such a blessing
Such
to
a
have
blessing.
you on.
It
Jamir,
is.
we've been hanging, haven't
We've been
we?
hanging tough.
We've been hanging.
We in these streets.
Telling some stories.
Man.
Oh my goodness. Tonight though, I want to talk about love, relationships, intimacy, and intention.
Oof.
And I want to talk about those things because as a 57-year-old single woman, I am talking to women and men all the time who are trying to figure out this dating relationship thing. And what I feel is we're getting in our own way in many respects. And I feel like we're getting in our own way because I think in some instances we want what we are not.
Oof.
Right? We want
Come
what
on.
we are not.
Yeah.
I also don't think we're willing to put the work in.
Yeah.
I was watching this clip today. This pastor was talking about, he's written a book called Lazy Love. And he talked about how lazy he was in his relationships and in his marriage. And as a result, it didn't work. But because he learned, he's now bringing his full self to the relationship. I also want to talk about what love means to you, you know, the two of you, and how you love. And then also intention, like, how are you using your words, your life, your actions to invite the kind of partner and mate that you would like to see show up in your life? Because as it is said by experts, we attract what we are.
We do.
We attract
We
what
do.
we are. So those are the things I want to talk about. That's the places I want to go.
Okay.
And I don't necessarily have a script for how we do that because I know you both of you well enough to
Now
know
I'm nervous.
we can have an
Now we
organic
nervous.
and lively
No, we
conversation
can. Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
purposeful as well. And
Yes.
again, feel free to call in 1-800-920-1580 as we talk about love, intimacy, and intention around relationships. So I'm going to start with you, Jamir. Love for you means what?
You know, I think 2025, every year I try and figure out what is my mantra going to be? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? And I think this year I will continue with the word of intentions. And intentions for me is something that I live by with every day, right? Making sure that the people that I connect with, the jobs that I take, the spaces that I am a part of, but then also the friends and the family that we're around. Is it intentional? And I think you have to start with that core. For me, love really refers to like a deeper complex of emotion. And, you know, surprisingly, in my 40s, shout out to all the 40-year-olds, I think that I have not fully experienced love as in a relationship space, right? And I think that I've dated, you know, whenever I was in college and grad school and all of the things, but I feel like in that space you don't really understand what love maybe is, me specifically. But I think also I had to understand how to characterize those feelings and then put them in a space that it allowed me to understand how to evolve, how to focus on my career. And I do believe my career is something that allowed me not to understand what love is, because I think there are times that we fall so deeply in love with our career, right? And we lose focus of the understanding of what love really means as in building of a relationship. And I definitely have more to talk about with that. But yeah. What about you, D?
What about you?
You know, for me, love is just about emotional safety and belonging. I meet plenty of men all the time. Yes, I do. However, it's a difference between if I feel emotionally connected to them or if, you know, we're just cool. I think intimacy, which I've learned in a lot of long-term relationships that I've had over my 20s, I think has helped me build that foundation to really understand that love is always going to be a work in progress and it's a give and take, but the root of it is feeling emotionally safe to where you can be vulnerable and have that open-ended connection.
How do you know when you're emotionally safe? What does that feel like?
Feeling like I can be completely myself. And, Jamir just talked about, and I'm so glad he brought this up, about career, kind of being at the forefront. When you're in LA, I'm a transplant. I'm from Oakland. You come down here to make it.
Yeah.
The career is at top of mind. However, sometimes that takes away from what your emotional or relational life could be. And I think for me to feel comfortable with a person specifically in LA allows me to take, okay, I can be stripped of all my titles, all the things that I've accomplished. They don't want anything from me. They love me for who I am.
Yeah.
And who am I outside of the career? But that's a different conversation. But it all ladders back to emotional safety, right? Like when I'm back home in Oakland, I know people are around me because they love Dominique for Dominique.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I asked that. I wanted to just have you unpack that a little bit, because sometimes we throw words out there and they can be intimidating for people. And our definition of a word is different perhaps than the person who is pursuing us. And sometimes I would argue that even becomes a challenge in trying to get to know somebody, because if I'm defining relationship, love, intimacy, emotional stability one way, and you define it another way, that can be a whole thing unto itself.
You know what's interesting? Lord, we're gonna go there. So let's go there, y'all. I think before we hopped on, I think all three of us had a conversation about the dating apps, right? And I think most recently, I am a part of a few of the dating apps that we kind of talked about, people that have had success stories, but I think also there's those stories that are not so good, right? And I think there's so many times that we have to experience being intentional, and I'm going to use that word a lot this evening, but I think it's one of those things like, for me, and I'll speak specifically for Jamir, it is the idea of whenever I'm meeting somebody and I'm having a conversation with you, I want to make sure that there is some type of alignment. And I never call a first date a date. I always call it a meet and greet.
Hold that thought.
Hey.
Yes.
When we come forward, I like that. That's a great place to pick back up. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Disagree without disrespect.
Make your point and keep it pushing.
Let's do this. Listen and learn, or talk and teach. Talking and listening around the clock. KBLA Talk 1580.
Somebody bring out the confetti, baby!
Starting Monday, January 6th, KBLA Talk 1580 has a new midday lineup.
I'm excited.
Are you ready for Tavis Smiley, Dr. Cornell West, Jesse Jackson Jr., D.L. Hughley, and E. Quarterly Corte back to back?
Oh my God.
Are you really ready for all this smoke?
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, we still have Dominique DePrima in the mornings and Zoe Williams in the evenings, but middays just got lit on KBLA Talk 1580.
We on fire.
All across America, people are talking about our new midday lineup. Starting Monday, January 6th, our KBLA 1580 app downloads are on fire because everybody's going to be tuning in.
Yes, I love you guys. You are the bomb.
Now would be a good time to hit up SMB at KBLA1580.com if you want folks to hear about your business or brand. That's SMB at KBLA1580.com. It's going up in 2025 on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's going up.
That's what I want.
If you need up to $3,000, go to WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com is the name you can trust. It's free to use, available 24/7, and you are never required to accept any loan offer. Some lenders offer same-day funding. If you need up to $3,000, type WeFixMoney.com directly into your browser. WeFixMoney.com has been helping customers for 15 years and has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. So, if you need cash for credit card bills, car repairs, child care, or anything else, go to WeFixMoney.com. Make sure you type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. Go to the company you trust, WeFixMoney.com. Just fill in the information and get an answer in minutes at WeFixMoney.com. For up to $3,000, go to WeFixMoney.com. That's WeFixMoney.com.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. Every girl deserves a chance to shine. That's the belief behind Forgiving for Living, Inc. Since 1999, this organization has been empowering at-risk girls ages 13 to 18, helping them overcome behavioral and mental health challenges. Founder Wendy Gladney's personal journey inspired the mission to give girls hope and purpose through the power of forgiveness. Through their ambassador program, workshops, and annual conference, Forgiving for Living has touched over 3,000 young lives, providing mentoring, life skills, training, and tools for building self-esteem and confidence. You can make a difference. Visit forgivingforliving.org to donate, volunteer, become a mentor, or find help for a young girl in need. Forgiving for Living, Inc., building brighter futures for young girls. Visit forgivingforliving.org today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth. Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome.
We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
Hey,
I love it.
Happy
I love
Friday.
it.
Happy Friday. Look, y'all caught me in the middle of checking the YouTube chat and trying to figure out, like, okay, there are some people there, but I don't see them because I wanted to acknowledge their presence. But I am Mischa Duffie. I am here with my friend Jamir Smith and
Hello.
Dominique Fluker, and we're talking about love, intimacy, relationships, and intentions, because why? 2025 is here. People are, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. Other people do. And some people have a New Year's resolution to be in love, to get married, to be with their quote unquote person, right? And while that is not my New Year's resolution, I am very much open to being with whomever I'm supposed to be with, right? In the meantime, though, I'm going to make sure that I enjoy my life and have a good time, right? So we're gonna definitely talk about that. But one of the things I wanted to share with you all tonight is I'm in my 50s. Jamir's in his 40s. Dominique is in her 30s. So we have a different angle and perspective based on where we are in life. And I love that because it makes for just a more diverse conversation. Jamir, before we came forward, though, you made a very interesting statement. It was, you don't call a first date a first date. No. You call it a meet and greet. Talk about that.
I think, whenever we are meeting people for the first time, you have to figure out, what is the dynamic of this, right? And I think as grown-ups, we have to figure out, and I think having sex on the first date, sometimes people think that it's so, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. But I mean, the reality is, if you are a mature person, you can make that decision. And going into that meet and greet, have that conversation, or have the conversation of, oh, I'm looking to date, or I'm looking for marriage, or I'm looking for children. And I think that is an opportunity that so many people have off of all, LGBTQIA, straight community, black, white, every single person has to be able to be a little bit more transparent as to what it is they're looking for. And I think I call it a meet and greet because it is not a date. It is if we get together for, and also when I say it's not a date, people, a date does not mean we're meeting up at the movie theater. I cannot get to know you in the dark watching a film and we are both silent. A meet and greet and a date means that we are getting together, grabbing coffee, grabbing tea. We're getting together at a museum or a park, and we're just vibing. We're trying to see. You
sound like Michelle Obama. Did you know that's her perspective? She says, she tells President Obama, a date is not the movie. We can't have a conversation in the movie, so that's not a date.
And also, we'll talk about my perspective on dates.
Go ahead.
But no, and I think that's just the only thing. I think you just have to be more transparent. And I think my own personal, I never talk about this, but my own personal dating experience is always interesting because as we previously were talking about careers, I think that there are so many times that in these relationships, in these spaces, that people are so afraid of what can I pour into you. And I know that's a different conversation, but meaning I am full meaning that I come to the table whole.
Yeah.
And I want whoever comes into my life to understand you are just an add-on.
Right.
So how do you add on to the greatness? How do you make sure that you understand that collectively?
Can we use the word asset versus add-on?
You an add-on.
Add-on doesn't sound so good.
You an add-on.
That's a
Andy, go
40
ahead. Go
percent.
ahead,
Andy. Oh, here we
go
go.
ahead, Andy.
So I'm gonna be a little facetious, but real at the same time.
Come on.
I disagree with you a little bit,
Me?
but I agree at the same
Okay.
time, right? So I understand you can't really speak at the movie theater, right?
Okay.
But it's perfect right after our dinner where we had our conversation.
That is true.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
So
But who knows?
No, and that
who
makes
knows I
sense.
want to be
Yeah.
with you that long?
Well, listen, I've had dates that have last. Oh my God, we do
No.
our meet and greet, and I was like,
Not
wait,
the
it's
first
a
date.
vibe.
It
And
needs
then
to
we
be
go,
one thing.
we go eat, and then we're like, hold on, you want to finish?
I've
this?
had a 10-hour
Yeah.
date.
Yeah,
all
I've
day.
had an all day
I've had
date.
a long day date.
Yeah, so to Andy's point, yes, but I think if we're saying, hey, meet me at the Cineplex, and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, hold on, is this
Or no
food
coffee
first?
dates.
Yeah.
No coffee dates.
No coffee. Okay, so
Absolutely
talk to us, Dominique, about your perspective on dating. And do
Okay.
you call the first time you go out with someone a date?
Absolutely not. I call it a meet cute.
A meet what?
A meet cute. Like you're meeting this cutie.
Oh, okay. Oh.
You are kind of feeling them out.
Okay.
Okay.
You are getting a good vibe of them. Or
Okay.
if you don't, this is why I'm saying for the first date, it really just needs to be one activity.
Okay.
So you can have a good out.
So y'all, okay, can we just pause? What is a date? What is a date then?
Okay, so so the date comes. Okay, can I take this one?
Go,
Okay.
yeah, please.
The date,
Absolutely.
for me, the date comes after. I'm only speaking for myself. Several meet cutes,
Okay.
because as a woman in her 30s who is actively dating, there are a lot of unsavory characters, and you really have to weed them out. And it's not even. You can meet guys all the time. It doesn't even have to be on the dating apps, but you have to take the time to understand who are you meeting with. I don't even want you to pick me up. I don't want you to know where I live.
Yeah.
We're totally different, living in a different dating
We
age.
are.
We are.
Because
We
I
are.
can
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
where dating was. You pick me up. You meet
Yeah.
my family.
Absolutely not.
Oh, you open the door for me.
Yeah,
you
I
bring
don't
the
know if you-
flowers to the door.
I don't
I
want
want
to.
you to
I
know
don't
where
want
I
to
live
share
yet.
locations
Yeah.
with you.
No.
I don't care where you're
no.
coming from. Don't try to get that trick with
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
You don't need to use my bathroom. You should have used it before. I don't need you to pick me up. No, seriously. I mean,
Yeah.
I think for me, it's a 2 to 3, depending on how well we vibe. It's a 2 to 3 meet cute minimum before we get to the actual date. And you need to be prepared as a gentleman to fully take me out on the dating experience that
So
I'm expecting.
in the meet cute, y'all.
And that's a different story.
In the meet cute, here's my question. Is it Dutch or is there an expectation?
Oh, absolutely not. Why would we be going Dutch?
So wait a minute, because
yes, it
it's
is
not a
Dutch.
date. Hold on.
Okay,
hold
so
on.
It
you're
is definitely
talking. Okay.
Dutch.
Hold on. If it's not a date, why is
Correct.
there an
I was- 'cause if it's not a
expectation?
date-
We're
that
talking from
he's
so many different
paying?
perspectives.
And that's
We're-
why we're here.
For me, Dominique Fluker,
Yes, yes.
nothing is Dutch
Okay.
Oh.
at all.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't do that
Okay. Okay.
over here.
Okay.
So for me, a meet cute is you are taking some of my time that I could be doing reading, writing, preparing, going with my girlfriends. You are trying to get to know me. You should be breaking your back to show your interest
Oh,
in
girl,
me.
you just set Andy on fire.
Listen,
Andy,
you know, Andy about to
Andy.
say. Hold on, Andy. Before you say something, I have to
Hey,
say
Andy.
really quick. I
Go
will
ahead.
say this
Go
really
ahead.
quickly.
Go ahead.
You know, I think for me, Dutch really is a 911, especially for men, because as men are going out,
You said
I-
Dutch is a what?
Dutch. So
911.
it's okay with going Dutch
Okay.
because I think at the end of the day, we've got to realize if this is not a date and we're just meeting each other, it's okay to split the bill.
But it's pre-dating.
Women and
it's pre-dating. It's pre-dating.
women
It's
are bosses
pre-dating.
these days.
We
Men
are, but I'm
bosses
not.
these
But
days.
I'm a very feminine woman, and I'm not splitting the bill.
Absolutely not.
And,
No,
Okay,
I don't
no.
know you.
Okay, one
Okay.
second, Andy.
Go
Andy
ahead.
wants to share. Go
Come
ahead.
on, Andy.
Miss Dominique, are you ever gonna take a man out
I have.
and you pay for everything?
Yes, I have, Andy.
But wait a minute, is that on the meet cute?
No.
Or is that's after you're dating?
No.
That's once he's your guy.
That's once we're fully locked in.
Oh.
So
okay.
what was it about this situation where you took him out? Like, Why didn't he, as a man, right? If we're talking man, female, femininity and all that, why wasn't a Dutch situation, or why didn't he pay for everything?
Because it was established that we are in an established relationship. We're in a full connection, and I trust this man. I love this man.
That doesn't count, then.
Okay, are you sure?
I'm talking about.
I think we're talking
somebody,
about like
not in a relationship.
Oh, not in a relationship.
Oh,
you know what? You know what, Andy? To be honest, if not talking in a relationship, to be transparent, no, I have never paid for. Why would I, Andy? I have never paid
because it shows your interest in him too.
Yes, but if we, of course, but let me tell you something, Andy. If they were not up to par to where we got to that point, I'm not doing that. But I would be open to it. But I have not met a man that interests me that much. But that's not to say that I wouldn't be open to it.
So rapport has to be established.
Absolutely.
Understood.
I was looking at a social media page the other day, and there was a guy. He was with his wife. He did an amazing like surprise for her, and I think they were doing like Wicked or something.
You're
like that.
gonna have to hold that thought when we come forward.
Ooh, it got spicy.
Yeah, and when we come forward, I can't even get my words together. Jamir is going to tell us his story about this reel he saw about a husband and a wife in Wicked.
Yeah.
Don't forget, Jamir. This is Friday night on
Yes.
KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Jay-Z's legal team is arguing the allegations against him are beyond the statute of limitations, citing New York's Victims of Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act. The anonymous victim says she was 13 when Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs raped her. Joe Budden has been charged with lewdness after police say he appeared naked outside of his neighbor's door in Edgewater, New Jersey on December 4th. Police were called after the neighbor shared doorbell camera footage showing Budden attempting to enter a code before returning to his apartment. Americans are optimistic about President-elect Trump's ability to control immigration. A Gallup poll showed that more than 2 in 3 Americans believe Trump will be able to curb illegal immigration. And Jimmy Carter's family is expressing their gratitude for the outpouring of love and support from the world after the former president's death. The family wrote in a statement they see it as proof that the family extends far beyond blood relatives. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 at BINnews.com.
It's a stall in downtown on the 101 northbound before the 110. Right lane is blocked. Delays backing up off of 1st Street. South LA, a wreck on the 110 northbound before Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Blocking the left lane, delays from Vernon Avenue. Also, let's head out to Hollywood for the South 101. Delays off of Hollywood Boulevard heading into the 110 freeway. And it's pretty crowded right now in Norwalk. This is the 605 northbound. Delays leaving the 105. And that drive remains heavy all the way to the 10.
Every day, a child in poverty waits for a sponsor is another day of hopelessness. There are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. End their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Just text the word radio to 83393.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Rams and Chargers have a playoff spot locked up heading into the final regular season game on Sunday, but both teams still have an incentive to win. Both teams are also expected to rest key players. The Rams, at home against Seattle, can hold on to the number 3 seed in the NFC playoffs and secure a potential first-round bye. Their first-round game would also be at home if they beat Seattle. The Chargers are facing a road game in the wildcard round in the AFC, whether they win or lose at Las Vegas on Sunday. The incentive for the Chargers is a shorter trip if they beat the Raiders. A win gives them the number 5 seed and a wildcard game at Houston. A loss to the Raiders drops the Chargers to the number 6 seed and a wildcard game in frigid temperatures at Baltimore or Pittsburgh. Draw your own conclusions as to which is the better option for the Chargers. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram at KBLA 1580.
Follow the leader. Are you ready?
The station leading the way with exclusive interviews,
Follow the leader.
stimulating conversation, and intellectual discourse that empowers, enlightens, and informs.
Follow the leader.
Follow the leader at KBLA 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Keep following the leader.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
I joined the military for my kid and his mom. I miss my son a lot. One of the things with the military is tobacco, but I saw a lot of people try to deal with mental issues. Everyone's vaping constantly. After my first hit of a vape, I was hooked like that. Once I got back home from my deployment, I caught my son trying to hit my vape. That was it. I had to quit.
Californians are beating big tobacco. You can too. For free support, text Kick Nicotine to 66819 today.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Autopsy Initiative provides a second autopsy free of charge for victims' families who have lost their loved ones due to a police-related death. The services offered through the initiative include the completion of a second autopsy, disclosure of preliminary findings, and a final autopsy report. A police-related death is when an individual is harmed by police officers using deadly force, which results in an individual's death. Police-related death includes in-custody deaths, including those that arise during contact with law enforcement officers during arrest, pursuit, booking, transport, or incarceration. The Autopsy Initiative has a team of board-certified pathologists on call. An autopsy request may be completed by anyone with a close relationship with the victim, which may include the victim's spouse, partner, relative, close friend, or lawyer. To request a free second autopsy for a victim of police violence, please visit knowyourrightscamp.com. That's knowyourrightscamp.com. Then click on Autopsy, then click on Request. At KBLA, we believe in justice for victims of police violence. We say their names, and we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
As we go a little something like this.
Hey, it is me, D.L. Hughley, and I am thrilled to be heard weekdays in my hometown on KBLA Talk 1580. So check out the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a whole lot to talk about, let me tell you. That's for the real.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
Close to my phone, you can add in bed all of them.
Okay.
Little matter, baby.
See you, Andy.
But I call my bag. If I was on the run, you could be my
Listen.
We having too much fun in the studio, y'all. This is crazy.
My boy Andy is back there having a four-way all by
He's acting up.
himself. I just want y'all to know, we welcome y'all in. It is Friday night. Here on KBLA Talk 1580. I am your host tonight, Mischa Duffie. My guests are Jamir Smith and Dominique Fluker. And Andy is here.
In the building.
Thank you for that, Andy. Listen.
Hold on. Huge shout out to YouTube. All of the viewers and listeners and everyone that's watching us on YouTube right now.
Absolutely. In particular, Lady Virgo. Good evening to
Lady
you
Virgo.
as well.
Lady
We
Virgo.
appreciate your presence. Thanks for being there. Always want to remind you all, you're welcome to call in 1-800-920-1580 and join the conversation. Tonight, this Friday night, we are talking about three singles in our 30s, 40s, and 50s. We're talking about love, intimacy, intention, and relationship, and it has been a fiery conversation.
So spicy.
Before we came forward, though, Jamir was telling us about a reel he saw, husband and wife, and
so I think, this is the thing. And this kind of aligns with your conversation, right? a guy was saying to his wife that he didn't feel appreciated. And I think in these relationships, we have to listen to our partners. And I think, you know, before we went to a break, I think we were talking about, is it okay to kind of split the bill? And I think there are times that we have to remove ourselves from sometimes the gender roles. We have to understand that, you know, in 2025, we're in different times. And women have CEO positions and presidential positions, and all of the things, and we align ourselves in the same category, and it should be okay for a woman to pick up the bill and a man to pick up the bill, or we can split the bill and it doesn't feel any kind of way. But I do believe as if relationships or situationships or the meet and greets are just starting, it is okay to actually just split a bill. I don't know you. So it is okay for me to say, hey, yeah, 2 checks, or you drop that card down and we just split the bill. But I do understand, and I would be remiss if I don't understand also, even what we were talking about on break, is we have to understand that people think differently and move differently in relationships, and expectations are differently, and upbringings are differently as well. And I remember there was something that I had written down and I wanted to talk about really quick, but we have to focus on the initial connection, getting to know each other, exclusive dating, meeting the friends and family, and what time frame that really looks like. Being able to travel together is huge. Yes. And then overcoming challenges. I think there's so many opportunities that we have in these relationships of having the hard questions. And when I say the hard questions, are you comfortable talking to your partner about your taxes? Are you in debt? What does it look like in a financial space? You know, do you want more when it comes to whatever? And then lastly, you know, mutual commitments. As we're in 2025, do people still believe in monogamy? Do we include people into our relationships so these relationships can actually last? And, you know, what is the rule of when we are intimate with each other? So,
Andy. Wow, Jamir, you just said too much. You just said too much. My whole head hurt. Go ahead, Andy.
Brother Jamir dropped some gems. I think I also want to add on to, I think it's important to talk about your triggers and your traumas. Because a lot of the times, therapy too. A lot of the times, you know, we do get
the 3 T's.
We get our, what do you call it, meet cues and stuff like that. And like even in the beginning of the relationship, everything is all like
it's all flowers and daisies.
It's
surface
all level for the most part. You know what I'm saying?
And
let's talk about what triggers you, what trauma, because you know what, it's gonna pop out in a relationship.
Absolutely.
And before you know, we're at each other's necks and throats.
I just don't want to talk about that so soon, though. Like, I think it's different.
What's so soon for you? How do you qualify so soon?
For me, again, meet cutes are preliminary. We are just simply getting to know each other's surface level and to see if we even want to take it further to go on a date.
But you have to have those conversations. So let me say this really quick.
We should have those conversations, but that's only if it makes it there. Sorry, Andy. I don't want to talk about all these traumas when I'm just first getting to know you. This is our first meeting.
So, Andy, in your opinion, when you're talking about trauma and triggers, when are you suggesting they come online?
Okay, like I'm with you, Dominique. That might be just a little bit too early. You don't want to scare nobody away. But I guess if maybe after 2 to 3 full dates.
Yes.
Right?
I agree with you, Andy.
Before you guys are actually going to make that commitment to be in a relationship.
Okay.
Let's have these conversations right now.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. I have to disagree,
Jamir?
unfortunately.
Okay.
I have to disagree, and I think that, so for me, if I'm meeting you on the first time and you're late to the date, and you've not effectively communicated, but again, that's a trigger. So if I don't effectively let you know, hey, Mischa, listen, I know we were supposed to get together at 6 o'clock. It's now 7. You haven't effectively sent me a text message. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if you got in an accident. I don't know if you're not interested, all of the things. And so for me, I don't know if it's a trigger, but it is a trigger when it comes to just being on time. Because
I also think those are preferences, though. I think those are fine to communicate. When I'm thinking about traumas and triggers, I'm thinking your last relationship, childhood stuff.
But even in a previous relationship, it could be the case that someone was perpetually late.
Yeah. Totally.
It is a trigger, right? That could definitely be a trigger. But let me say this: when you all talk about what's too soon to say and to share, really quickly, I was getting gas last year at the gas station up the street. I saw this guy's eyes on me. He was at the pump ahead of me. He came over to me, told me how pretty I was, whatever, y'all, right? So he wanted to go on a jazz show. I couldn't go. I was coming here. Jazz. And so I said, well, let's get together, tomorrow. So we went to dinner the next day, right? Okay. Y'all, this dude, 15 minutes into the dinner, says, have you ever been stalked? So I say, no. I said, what about you? He points at himself, and I say, what does that mean? And he says, I'm the stalker. Okay. So wait a minute. What do you do when somebody tells you the first time you meet them within 15 minutes that they are a stalker? Now, he did say he was a recovering stalker. He had not stalked anybody in a year. But here's my point. My sons were like, Mommy, you should have ran. I'm a journalist, so I sit up and I'm like, tell me about it. So who did you stalk and how long did you stalk them and how did you stalk them?
So y'all, Michelle was sitting here with the killer.
I am so intrigued.
She was sitting here with the killer.
And my buddy told me I disarmed him because I didn't have any fear.
Yeah.
And he liked women who would be fearful of a stalker, but I wasn't tripping off of none of that. When we come forward, we will continue our conversation about dating, intention, love, and intimacy and here on KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
Want to play a game with me and Dad?
Mommy's not feeling good.
You need to vaporize that cold.
Vaporize?
Yeah, with Dayquil VapoCool. It's Dayquil plus a rush of Vicks vapors.
Whoa.
Come on, honey. Let's let Mommy rest.
You guys are amazing. And so is Dayquil VapoCool.
Dayquil VapoCool, the vaporizing daytime coughing, aching, fever, power through your day medicine. And to vaporize sore throat pain, try Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Worried about eviction? You have rights, and Stay Housed LA can help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between LA County, the City of Los Angeles, and local service providers. From Lancaster to Long Beach, we're here to help you with tenant education workshops, legal clinics, free legal services for eligible tenants, and online resources about tenant protection laws. Don't face eviction alone. Call our hotline at 1-888-694-0040. That's 1-888-694-0040. Or visit stayhousedla.org. Stay Housed LA, keeping Los Angeles residents in their homes. Stay Housed LA, your rights, your home, our community. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Find a righteous rage, and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are talking about love, intention, intimacy, and relationships here. I am Mischa Duffie. My guests are Jamir Smith and Dominique Fluker. And before we came forward, I was sharing a story about having gone out with a guy who within 15 minutes shared that he was a stalker. Pretty Brown Mimi said, Mischa, thank you. You should have listened to your son and got out of there. Yeah. Pretty Brown Mimi, good evening. Good Friday to you. Marcus Atkins, good Friday to you. Jamir, Pretty Brown Mimi said, are you bringing back Dutch for 2025?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. No, I think this is the thing. I think to answer your question, I think in that moment, and I know we were talking about triggers, and those are the things, right? I think not laying things on so heavy so early is understandable.
Yes. So let's
That's
talk
what I
about
was saying.
what is the expectation for the initial conversation?
I think it's person to person.
Yeah,
every person is going to be different. But I think also, like what we were saying about when people are late, or if I don't drink. So, having these not surface conversations, but conversations that actually have some type of value, I believe that's when you should be able to at least, start it off.
And you could also definitely say your boundaries.
Yeah.
Hey, I love time management, and you are consistently late, or you were late the first time. That is a trigger for me. But I was talking about deep, dark things. We don't need to be exploring that. The first meetup, really, honestly, ladies, and whoever, should be you getting to take some time to know the person for what they like, what they're interested in, and having fun. We need to bring back fun again in 2025.
I do agree with that.
We're not in a relationship where you need to unload your and you shouldn't expect me to do that. We don't know each other like that.
Bowling, roller skating,
okay, let's just have fun.
All of the things. I think that's a great point. Can we pivot and talk about intimacy? And here's my thing about intimacy. Okay. I think the person who is quick and excited to become physically intimate with me, but not emotionally intimate with me, is a red flag.
Okay.
For me, an intimacy perspective is you're willing to share who you are, and you don't have all of your guards up. You didn't bring your representative, and I know we talk about that, but I'm 57. I'm not interested in dating somebody for 2, 3, 5 years. Right. I'm ready to get married, right?
Well, that's
it's a whole different place, right? It's a different perspective. Yeah. But when you think about intimacy, what does that word mean for you, Jamir?
I think being able to have a transparent conversation from the beginning. What are your expectations? What is it that you're looking for? Do you have any diseases? When is the last time you've had a checkup? All of the things. Because I think as you get older, there are things that you can never, ever take away. And I think being able to be transparent about those things are paramount. But then also, to play devil's advocate, it's okay to also have a hookup. So I think, I never want to shame.
When we say hookup, we be like a one night stand.
Yeah, never shame the hookups. Okay. Never shame the hookups, men and women, because I think the reality is.
So wait a minute, how you gonna have a hookup if you want to know when was the last time?
Well, that's what I said.
Somebody...
It's a double-edged sword because me specifically, and I'll say me specifically is part A. Part B is the hookup, because the hookup is, it's okay. I don't want. There's a lot of people, and we cannot not acknowledge the people that don't want to be like us, that want to be in a relationship and maybe want to be married. There are people that are super successful that love to just have a good time and wild out and be in the streets. And it's okay for them to be in the streets, but also be transparent as to what it is you're looking for, because it's not fair for the people like us that are looking, the ones that are listening and watching, that are wanting more in a relationship, and you just here to play the field.
Transparency is key, and be grown enough to communicate. Like he said, if you want to go out and have a good time, do that, but just don't do that on my time. I think for me, I'm not in a hookup stage per se. All right, ladies. However, I am open to fostering genuine connection, and wherever that goes, it may go. I wrote an article. I don't aspire to be a wife. I think for so much of my life that was programmed in me, and when I wrote that opinion, I got a lot of backlash for that. Andy, bring it, Andy.
So when you say you don't aspire to be a wife, you
and it's so funny because I know Andy was itching to say something, but I get from a lot of heterosexual men that I'm wifey material. And that is not what I aspire to be honest. I aspired first to be a great human citizen. if I do happen to be a wife, that's great, but it's not my main goal in life. That's what I mean by that. And by that article, I think it was revolutionary at that time because a lot of Black women are programmed from birth. All women are programmed from birth to get into, be a wife and take care of home and do all these things. And I'm a woman of the world in the best way. But, you know, can I see myself married? Absolutely. But that's not my only identity.
Yeah. And to your point, great segue into how you still can live a purposeful, enjoyable life as a single person.
Oh my God.
While you wait for your person, or to your point, Jamia, while you hang out in the street and do your thing.
Or intentionally date. That's the thing. Exactly. We need to talk about that.
Okay, so talk about it.
Okay. Okay, I will. But no, I think that's what I'm leaning more into 2025. And I recently wrote an article, actually today, about some dating trends that we are seeing emerging. And one of them is removing those dating apps, doing more meet cutes, hanging out, going to house parties. LA has a lot of that where, you know, things close out early. People are having gatherings at their house, organically meeting men or whoever you might be interested in dating, but through friends, through community that you know that are trusted. So you won't have a situation where you're meeting a rando on the street and you're like, wait, oh my gosh, who is this person?
But see, this is the gotcha with that, though, FYI. The gotcha is in gay and straight communities, we can go to these events, and I go to many elevated moments in events, but the issue with that is we could be at the event for 2 hours, we could be at the club or whatever, and we looking at each other and staring at each other, and you never said anything. But I opened that app, and you done slid in my DM, or you reached out to me on Instagram, and it was just like,
I go up to people.
But this is the thing. A lot of people are afraid to do that.
Well,
right?
let's get out of that, because you're not going to, just like, you know, sitting there at home with your glass of wine in the dark on the couch, thinking that Mr. Right is going to come and fall into your lap. We are not there anymore. You have to get out into the field and be open and try. Just like you do anything else with your career and with your family, you have to try and be present if you want a committed relationship.
Andy.
Hey, Andy.
So, Dominique, you pulling up on people?
I personally never pull up on people. I'm more pursued, but however, I do. Okay.
There was a thing earlier, and I remember I was reading this article about dating apps, and especially dating apps after 40. I think that, you know, there's certain people, and I never, because I think in my 30s, like mid-30s, I was really at this space of like, okay, how do I start transitioning in my life, and how I start, I have the successful career and all of the things, but now you don't have the relationship. And so what does that look like? And I think you can put yourself in a lot of these different rooms, and there's so many people that are just afraid to come up and say hello, or there's a competition. And I think there's so many times that we can hide behind the social media space of things. And so I never want to get rid of the social media apps, just because the dating apps, social media apps, they sometimes work, because there have been some successful relationships that have worked
like my friends
through, you know, the dating apps. But I think to your point, and what everyone has been saying this entire evening, is that be intentional and be very transparent as far as like whatever your expectations are. And hopefully, you know, you can meet the Mr. or Mrs. Right. So.
And I think that that's the point, that the being honest, the being transparent, the being authentic is the point, that we should not be in a position where we're hiding and we're keeping secrets and expecting people to make a decision about us without all of the information. Andy?
Yeah. Last thing, as a person that's receiving the information from the person you're getting to know, do your best not to judge. Because if you're expecting me to be vulnerable and open and share some real deep, intimate stuff, you know what I'm saying? Please, if things were to fall off, do not use that as a way to, like, you know, attack me.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think there's a fear in that too. That's why a lot of people don't open up.
Yeah, I agree.
No,
I agree 100%.
And we talked about it because we didn't really highlight this as much as we should. But I mean, therapy, I need for people of color to understand that therapy
So if
is
you
a
meet
focus,
somebody and they
please.
tell you they're in therapy, that's not a red flag.
Oh, that's a green
No,
flag.
that's a green
flag. I love that.
Especially for heterosexual black men.
We have really evolved.
please.
No,
You have
especially
to.
for black men, it is a green flag.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Okay, so before I lose the two of you all at the top of the hour, tell me, ideally, How do you know if you're in a healthy relationship? 1 minute.
Communication is 100% top tier for me. If we cannot be able to communicate, we can't. You talked about it earlier. If we can't be friends, I want to be able to just have a good time with you. Let's laugh, let's joke, let's just do all of the things, and you not judge me, and I can be who I am at a house and not all dolled up and all of the things, and just have a good time with my person.
Dominique, how do you know if you're in a healthy relationship?
Again, emotional safety. That is paramount for me. I need that to be able to be intimate, sexually. I need the friendship part, and I need the vulnerability. I think that is super important to where we are fully locked in.
Yeah, we all three are on the same page with that, because for me, communication is everything. I definitely love somebody that I can have a ball with.
Absolutely.
And as you said, there's no judgment. We can talk about anything. I'm not judging you. You're not judging me. But we're in this to have a good time. And the other thing is to build each other up, to really see how we can build a beautiful life together. Not just what I can get from you or what you can get from me, but what can we bring each other, mutually bring to the table.
Yeah. And it's also, you should never, even if you're in a relationship or not, leave a person worse than you found them.
Amen. I love that.
That's what I go
good,
by.
Dominique.
Even just regular interactions, always leave that person better.
Yeah. I love it. Well, I thank you all. We're going to have to leave it right there for tonight. Andy, thank you.
Andy, thank you.
Dominique Fluker, thank you. Jamir Smith, thank you. You've been riding with me all month long. It has been a blessing to do radio with you. You all, listen, it is Friday night. It's not too late to go have a good time somewhere, or even in the comfort of your own home, whether by yourself or with your special person. It is the best of, because it's Friday, the best of The Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams is up next. Join me tomorrow at 1 right here on KBLA as I return to hosting my own show, The Backstory. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, and remember to dance with joy.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with 4 things you should know from BIN News. Republican Mike Johnson has been reelected Speaker of the House on the first vote. A minority of Republican holdouts in Congress helped Johnson become Speaker once again. Republicans hold a razor-thin majority edge over Democrats.